Hey there folks, and welcome to this video. Hair's a bit messy and I've got a pair of my tracksuits in the background there that I've got to move. But anyways, let's get on with the general notes where I start off the week by talk about plans for the week ahead, look a bit further back, and talk about stuff that's on my mind. You can find a timestamp for that one in the description section for you. But let's start off with the chat about the week ahead. I don't think there's any racing. I think there might be Rally Estonia. Let me just double check while I talk about that. But, yeah, in terms of content, if there's any news coming up, I will talk about that. If not, might do some more sim racing stuff. In terms of streams, I know Wavy World Tours this weekend. I'm pretty sure I've got 24 hours of Le Mans. We're still another 2 weeks out of Rally No, another week out of Rally Estonia. That's a bit annoying. It's Silverstone weekend that's happening. Huh. But yeah, that's gonna be quite cool to do. Like it's annoying the way that it's had to come about. iRacing have had to basically create their own 24-hour series so that people could do 24 hours for Le Mans in July. But yeah, got that coming up. I think it would have been an LMP1 as well, so we just need to make sure we don't get damaged, otherwise we are in big trouble. Outside of that, NIS is somewhere. Can't remember where, I think Atlanta. That'll be quite fun to do. I stream something else as well. Don't know yet. If I do, it's likely to be over on my Twitch. Yeah, thinking back, I really need to get back on top of actually making content that I'm quite happy with. I've been busy the past few weeks, so I've been relying on a staple of outrage culture. Like, genuinely, I've been relying on people getting annoyed about F1 drivers needing to be able to get any kind of views. But gone to the point now that my subscriber count is fluctuating. This is something I usually pay attention to, but in the past 28 days, I've got a net gain of 1. And 6,800 views. It's about where I was this time last year. Thing was, this time last year I was just shy of the 500 subscriber mark, I think. Well, no, I think I was already around 400. So I need to get back on it with the content that I'm making. I need to get back to engaging, because I know I'm down on engaging with everyone, and I'm a bit annoyed about that, and I'm sorry that I've not been there. Believe me when I say I've had a lot of stuff happening. You've seen the amount of stuff that I've been doing, but behind the scenes I've had a lot of stuff happening. It's a lot of personal things, not really in a place where I can openly talk about it right now, but some brilliant, some a bit more mixed. But overall it's just that I've been busy. And that's as simple as that. So I just want to get back into doing some more things that I'm quite happy with doing. I love doing daily video content, otherwise I wouldn't have been doing it. Nearly 7 years now. 7 years in a month. Give or take a week. So yeah, in 5 weeks I'll have done 7 years worth of daily video content. Nearly a third of my life. Wow, that's actually quite weird to think about. But let's get on with talk about my thing that's on my mind, and it's a good point to do that. About 4 minutes into the video, we'll see if this goes to like 12 minutes, like a lot of these usually do. But my main thing is about events and capacities, because this weekend is Goodwood Festival of Speed, and that's one of the green light kind of restart things where it's like, oh, you go back to full capacity. Basically, the government here in the UK is saying, yeah, go back to full capacity with these events, because then we'll get to see what the world will be like when we have all of these events back at full capacity, because lockdown restrictions are supposed to be lifted end of next week, so the day after the British Grand Prix. The week of London E-Prix. However, with Silverstone and Goodwood going up to full capacity, The London E-Prix is supposedly only going to key workers. No tickets. It's being held indoors, of course, the Excel Arena, but pretty sure the semi-finals and the final for the Euros are still being held at Wembley, with going up to full capacity for them as well. Which should be something that concerns you. And if you look at case numbers in the UK, we're going right up, but of course hospitalisations and deaths are much lower. And of those deaths, lots of people have not received double hits of the vaccine. And that's a key point to look at. In addition to that, Delta variant is the strongest in terms of case numbers, which should also be a concern. At the same time, there are a lot of people who are saying, and I don't trust the government on this stuff, just because of their own ineptitude in handling most of what's happened, not only in the past 18 months, but in the past 11 years they've been in government. Give or take a couple of months. I just don't trust them. But when a lot of the people that I do listen to are saying, well, the main thing is the hospitalizations are low, that's a big deal. Because if we can get to a point where we can comfortably have these kinds of events and not see a massive outbreak of cases, that is a good thing. That is almost certainly a good thing. And we can get to the position that that's happening around the world, that's a great thing. Problem is, at least for the next while, in my opinion, there need to be lots of the measures that we are doing still in place, like wearing masks and keeping distance where possible. And I can tell you why that is. It's because with case numbers being high, we increase the possibility of mutation or mutations, and those could be more resilient to any kind of vaccination. In fact, that's why the Delta variant is so prevalent, because supposedly it is immune to these vaccinations, but at the same time it's not causing as many hospitalizations or deaths, because vaccines are helping reduce the worst effects of contracting a virus. That's how it always is. It's how MMR exists. The MMR vaccine exists. It's how, for example, a vaccine that I got before I started uni, the meningitis ACWY, that's why that exists. Because you can just... I could be at the healthiest I've ever been, which is actually roughly where I was when I started university. Contract meningitis, it could kill me. With a vaccine, it really shouldn't be able to do that. And that's where we need to be. Like, we need to get to a point where case numbers are low, which means that there's less likelihood for mutation. We need to make sure that our vaccination rates are high, almost across the entire country, apart from people who can't get it for reasons, including, say, reactions to the vaccine or severe conditions, often in a lot of cases brought on by having contracted the virus in the past couple of years that we've been going through this. But I don't think we're going to get to a point where we're going to have the same kind of openness and freedoms that we had back in 2019 till 2022, and that's a weird thing to say, but it's been something I've been saying for nearly a year and a half now. In fact, it's something that I've been saying since March, when we first went into a lockdown here in the UK. I'll admit, and I've said this before, at first I was a bit mixed about what I was saying. Like, I was never someone necessarily for or against a lockdown. My view was that when we saw what was happening around the world, the early suggestions were mortality rate was around 1%. I said, you think that that's low, but if you look at 1% of the entire world's population when we're at around 8 billion people, you talk about 80 million. You talk about essentially the population of the UK and then a little bit on top. So, put that into perspective. We've not gotten to that point. There are millions of people dead. And that is absolutely horrible. But we've done a lot to get to where we are. And I think a lot of that's been reliant on how we as people have acted. Because certainly we'll give the governments a lot of credit for it. They had to act in when necessary, especially here in the UK, but there were some that were a lot more alert. I'm thinking New Zealand, for example. And I don't see my kind of freedom to be able to travel being back to what it was in early 2020 when I travelled across Europe until another 6 months down the line. Which is a shame, but it's the way the world is right now. Anyways, stay safe. Thank you so much for watching, and hey! I said it was about to hit 12 minutes, and we are about to. Yeah, stay safe. Keep your distance where possible. Wear a mask where required. And I hope to see you around. Bye bye for now.